Jesus in John 14:6 explicitly says, I am the way and the truth and the life. No man comes to the Father except through me. He didn't say, I'm one of many ways. I point you to the life, and I can bring you to the Father among many. He goes, no, I am the truth, the life. Now, even from an Islamic perspective, no prophet can say he's the truth, the life, because Islam recognizes those titles as belonging only to the God of Islam, which they believe is the God of Abraham. So for Jesus to say he's the truth, he just claimed to be more than a man from an Islamic perspective. To say you're the life, you just claim to be more than a man. But the Jesus of the New Testament, who's the Christ of history, is not a Muslim prophet. The Jesus of history claims to be the very God in such a way that even the Quran acknowledges no man can claim the titles he claimed. When I said that one of the names of Allah is the truth, al-haq, and he is the life, and he's also the first and the last. Well, if you go to chapter 22, verse 6 to 7, there you're going to see the names of Allah pretty much plagiarized from what Jesus said prior to the Quran. You'd think, if I didn't tell you this is Allah speaking, you think that you're reading the Gospel of John, because what is said about God here, the Allah of Islam, is exactly parroted from what Jesus says in the Gospel of John, which comes 600 years earlier. So chapter 22, verse 6 to 7 says, that is because Allah is the truth, al-haq, that's one of the names of Allah, and because he gives life to the dead, and because he is over all things competent. Now here's an interesting part in verse 7, and that the hour is coming, no doubt about it, that Allah will resurrect those in the grave. See, only Allah gives life and resurrects the dead, and he's the truth. Well, if I go to the Gospel of John chapter 5, Jesus said all those things, but he applied it to himself. Now watch Jesus say what the Quran says of Allah, but he says it 600 years before Muhammad showed up. So who's plagiarizing whom? It's not Jesus plagiarizing Allah. Now remember what Allah it said of Allah, he's the truth, he gives life.
Yes.
And then the hour is coming where he will raise
Sounds
the dead.
familiar.
For just as the Father raises the dead and gives them life, even so the Son gives life to whom he is pleased to give it. So if I were to compare what Jesus says of himself with what was said about Allah, clearly Jesus claimed to be God, because the things Jesus says is ascribed to the Islamic deity, not to a prophet.